Hey sightseers, we're headed towards falling spring, and just so happened that out here in the middle of nowhere we came across a cemetery called Falling Spring Cemetery, and I thought I'd quick show this to you. It's kind of odd. We were driving down a forestry road out to this place that's in the middle of a national forest, and there's a cemetery here. Which kind of blows my mind that you'd find a cemetery out here in the middle of nowhere, basically. But we'll go take a look and see how old the graves are. I have no idea. I don't even know if this is a current, like if it's in use currently, like if there's current people being buried here, or if it's an older cemetery that just happens to be located in the middle of this national forest. But we'll soon find out. There's the forestry road that we came in on, and then here's the cemetery. Pan over, show you the gate. It says Falling Spring Cemetery. It's pretty small, not very big. But I thought it would be really interesting to go check this out, considering that it's located out in the middle of nowhere. How often do you find a cemetery out in the middle of nowhere like this? Let's go on inside. The first set of graves I come on to, it's showing, let's see, 1880 something to 19 something. So that's a fairly old grave. And the one next to it says baby. Somebody's baby daughter, Martha, passed away at the very beginning of, it looks like 1901. This headstone is so weather worn that you can't even tell what it said. Very peaceful out here. If anything, it's a beautiful setting to have a cemetery. I wonder if we would find the family. There is a family cabin over at that Falling Spring where we're headed. I wonder if their family is buried in this cemetery. This one's so weather worn that you can't even read the metal sign that was there. There is a newer grave right back here for Brawley, Dwight Brawley. He passed away January 29th of 2001. So that's relatively recent. But a lot of these others are older, and then it appears that some of the headstones have been replaced with more modern, newer headstones. Looks like the flowers fell out. We'll just put them back. The one that Marty's looking at, it appears that that's a newer grave. Vernon passed away April 22nd of 2016. So this must have been a plot that they had bought a while back, and he was first buried here just a couple years ago, and it appears that Joyce is still living. They were married back in June of 1958. This is the grave for a couple, Eliza Albert and I believe William Albert. William's headstone says Resting till the resurrection morn. Found one headstone that says Winona's Finest, and that's all it says. It doesn't even have a name. That's interesting. This headstone looks like it's been replaced, considering the age of the headstone. You'd think it'd look a little bit more weather-worn, but I'm assuming somebody replaced it, probably because it was unable to be read. The one next to it is George Bell, and you can see the difference in his headstone. This one must be a child's grave. It's a shame that this is all busted up. Kind of like that grave. I just couldn't leave it like that. It must be a while since some of these families have been here to check on their loved ones. What happened there?
Casket collapsed. It's just that old that the casket finally collapsed.
That's a shame. Some of these other ones look like they're close to that as well. I mean, look at how old those headstones are over there.
Well, it all depends. Like, you know, obviously whatever they used to bury this person lasted a long time and finally collapsed. I mean, it's not uncommon to go in old cemeteries and see this in real old cemeteries. See like low spots in front of a headstone. It's not uncommon at all, because over time they collapse, and that's what happens. That's why a lot of times they'll pile up dirt higher, because when it collapses, then they put all the dirt they take out of the hole, because eventually it all just ashes to ashes, dust to dust, everything goes back. Casket collapses, and sometimes they level it off, and then you end up with a hole.
I know, but I think it's still kind of sad that, you know, you come out and there's a hole there, because it means somebody hasn't been to the cemetery in a while to tend to it. I mean, yeah, they must be obviously cutting the grass here, but not much else.
Yeah. War was in the 60s, 1860s. You would have been 28. 68, I'm thinking, somewhere around there. Maybe I thought it was in the 60s, but anyways, he would have been in the Civil War. And did he serve twice? Is that what that stands for?
And can you explain again what those?
Company C, 101st Regiment, and then Company C, 58th Infantry, and I don't know what VOL stands for.
If anybody knows what VOL stands for, leave it in the comment section below.
It's got to pertain to the Civil War, I would assume, or military. Maybe I'm just off on that, but I'm assuming Civil War.
And then just outside the cemetery, we discovered another headstone, another grave. I'm gonna go check that out here real quick before we head on to Falling Spring, which was our original destination. We got sidetracked a little by stopping here and taking a look-see around this cemetery. I'll follow Marty. It's over here all by itself. And it's a grave for 3 unknown soldiers.
Well, there's an actual stone here, but there's stones here, so I don't know if it was a stone at one time or people just brought rocks here.
As tokens of show that they were there.
Yep.
It's a possibility. It's also possible there could have been a headstone there at one time. That's kind of neat. That's something you'd expect to find out in the middle of a national forest, for sure. Kind of reminds me of that Civil War grave that we found up north. It's interesting what you find when you least expect it. Who would have thought that you'd find a cemetery out in the middle of a national forest? But we did. And count myself lucky that we had the experience, that we got to see it. All because we decided to take the lesser path, the lesser traveled, and go explore an area that we've never been, and one that's not as popular. Full of surprises, I'll tell you that. Anyways, we're gonna carry on, head on to our original destination. Until next time. Oh, wait, I shouldn't probably say that yet. If you wanna check out the vid that I'm doing on falling spring, I'll have that linked for you up above. Otherwise, you can find it in the description box below. Until next time, this is SightseeingSally. Special thanks goes out to all our fellow sightseers here on Patreon and PayPal. Without you, these videos wouldn't be possible.